Hey guys, I'm James Bruce with MakeUseOf.com, and today I'll be walking you through some Fallout 4 VR gameplay, talking you through the controls and generally sort of giving you my thoughts on it. I've recorded this footage quite early on in the game, within sort of 5 hours of starting, so obviously there will be some spoilers, but only very, very early missions, and certainly nothing you won't have seen already if you've played the base game. Now obviously the best way to play this is with the Pip-Boy on my arm, a sub-pack to feel the guns and explosions, and I've got my 3D printed rifle stock for that extra bit of realism, as well as some random Raider armour. So the first thing to mention is that there are two movement styles. You can either teleport around short distances for free, as it were, or longer distances which cost AP or action points. Or if you're a seasoned VR user, you can enable controller relative free motion. There's also a vignette option to make free motion a little more comfortable, but I've disabled that. It's controller relative, meaning that if you touch the touchpad forward, you can still change direction by moving around the controller itself. It's not tied to where you're looking. So you can look in this direction, point behind you, and you would move backwards instead. So for movement, 10 out of 10 really, it's about as good as it could be. There are lots of options there to cater for everyone's personal preferences, depending on how comfortable you are in VR. Then we come to guns, and these are a little less satisfying with two main issues at the moment. The first is that scopes on rifles are just decorative. They don't actually let you look through them now. Bethesda has said that they're working on this, but how long it'll be before that's fixed, who knows? As I understand it, it's quite a big task. And it's especially disappointing considering you have the gun modding system where you create scopes, and right now they're useless. You're better off sticking just with iron sights. Pistols and shotguns absolutely fine, but we'll have to wait a little longer for the rifle scopes. The other slight disappointment is that the guns are only one-handed. Now of course you can print your own gun stock like I have and literally hold up your left hand to steady yourself, but in terms of gameplay there's no two-handed mode to increase the accuracy, and this is something that likely won't be fixed, I think, because it's such a massive overhaul. It's just not realistic to expect that, given the nature of the game being a VR port, even though it's taking so long to do that, I mean it's unlikely to be changed to have two-handed guns at any point. Still, I mean, gunplay is fun, which is great considering it's such a central part of the game, obviously, and neither of these things are game-breaking for me personally, but worth mentioning anyway. VATS is also present in VR. Tap the right menu button to bring it up and you'll enter bullet time. You'll be able to target specific body parts, or if you get up close you can whack them with a melee weapon or your gun, which is actually kind of fun. I think my favourite aspect of the game has always been the base building mechanic, and in VR it's just a million times better. With a new radial workshop menu that's pretty easy to navigate, and of course the spatial awareness that VR gives you, it's so satisfying to build and explore these structures now. When playing with a mouse and keyboard it could sometimes be fiddly to place things, and that's largely gone. But this one aspect of the game is going to be more than enough to justify everything for me personally. One thing that I find particularly annoying is the sort of overall control scheme, and that's using it with the Vive wands that it's designed for. Specifically, I find myself commanding Dogmeat far more than I'd like by accident, which just gets in the way, and the trackpad interaction with the Pip-Boy is quite annoying too. Also, the conversation and character interaction systems is unchanged from the base game, and by that I mean it's terrible. You use the right touchpad to pick one of 4 choices that are basically a summary of what you would say.
You find those raiders?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I kicked their asses for you.
No kidding? That's the best piece of news we've had around here for a good long time. So we've been talking. We decided if you came through for us, we'd join up with the Minutemen again.
You the
If we
man.
want things to get better, we've got to start helping each other. So, we're in. You can count on us if you need help down the line.
I mean, I don't really know what else they could have done there. Perhaps a voice recognition system would have been very cool, but that's asking too much, I expect. You do get used to it all eventually, but the controls they aren't as intuitive as a lot of made-for VR games are. The fact that your hands are controllers rather than actual hands, and you can't see your body, for instance, makes the whole character development and changing armor sort of pointless other than from a stats perspective. I don't know about you, but I played the original in third-person view because I liked to see the cool stuff that I was wearing. I liked to put on a new bit of armor and see what it looked like. Now you don't get that, and that's a shame, because I think being able to look down and see this new leather pad on your shoulder or whatever would be pretty cool. The only other thing worth mentioning is that for whatever reason, although the game does work with the Oculus Rift headset, the control scheme is even worse due to the thumbsticks on the Oculus Touch controllers. Some people have figured out some workarounds using auto hotkey, I think, or they've just learnt to live with the awkward sort of pressing in of the thumbsticks for certain interactions, but it's not ideal, and it's not clear if Bethesda are going to fix that, or if they're even allowed to due to the ongoing litigation, or perhaps because HTC threw a packet of cash at them to sort of make it Vive exclusive. Who knows? Either way, it does work on Oculus, it's just a bit more fiddly than it already is. Overall thoughts then? I think I'm going to spend the next 3 years exploring the wastelands, and I apologise in advance to all those other awesome VR games that just won't get my attention, because this is just insanely good. For all its faults, this is Fallout 4 in VR. It's fully immersive and it's just so epic. If you've been waiting for a good enough reason to get an HTC Vive, then wow, this right here is it. And I believe it's free right now with a new Vive purchase at the moment, so check that. But, you know, what are you waiting for? For existing owners, even if you have the original Fallout 4, then it's £40 or $60, I think. But honestly, that's so worth it. I mean, you know how many hours of gameplay are in here. There's literally hundreds. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll basically just shut up now, mostly, and let you keep watching some gameplay without me droning over the top. If you enjoyed this, then please give us a thumbs up. That would really help us out. And if you're not already subscribed, you should know that we do 2 giveaways a week of the latest tech gear: laptops, phones, gaming consoles, VR accessories, as well as publishing some DIY technology tutorials, Windows tips, Android tips, and all that good stuff. Until next time, fellow Vault Dwellers.
Oh my god. That was not what was supposed to happen.
I'm in.
This is bullshit.
Identify yourself.
No need to hide.
You want to get up there? This.
There we go.
Get some, motherfucker! Yeah, do it again! Son of a bitch!
I mean, I'd love to stay inside here. I think I have missions to do.
Made it.
You can deal with that.
This time.
Dude, that's miles away. Alright, fine. Let's mission out there a bit, shall we?
Whoa, 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 whoa.